Hello, we are here again with Susan Bergeron. She's from Coastal Carolina University from the US. She came here yesterday. She's with us for a couple of years now. We've been cooperating in projects regarding this area, Delphi here. She just gave a very interesting speech. The talk was about mainly geographical information systems and how they can be applied on archaeology. And I want to talk to Susan about another thing she mentioned. Susan, you mentioned Delphi for Delphi.
Yes.
A project that's a collaboration of a multinational collaboration. Could you just elaborate on that?
Absolutely. So the project is very interesting to bring together a number of groups, so including University of California, San Diego, so Dr. Tom Levy, Ioannis Laritsis, of course, from the University of Aegean, who's also organizing the symposium today, Dr. Arnie Flatten, formerly a colleague of mine at Coastal Carolina and now at Ball State, and myself and some others, and you're involved as well. So a very good collaboration, and the idea is for us to get together and utilize our strengths to help document the site at Delphi and work on 3D reconstructions. And so we've begun work, and we've collected some good data already. So Dr. Levy's crew was able to get some photographs and other documentation for structure from motion for some of the extant features here. We're working at our end in the area of 3D reconstructions, but using existing sources from archaeology. So I talked a little bit a few minutes ago about how our students in our group are using the French excavation reports, which include very detailed plans to reconstruct buildings that are not extant anymore, meaning they're not standing. And if you're familiar with the site at Delphi or have been here, you'll notice that almost everything is in disrepair, and there's been small attempts at reconstruction, but a lot of the materials are gone. So it creates quite the dilemma for reconstruction. So that's some of the things that we're working on, in addition to getting ready to collect more data related to the terrain, the very difficult terrain of the site, but something that's also very important. Yes.
To answer about the terrain, how difficult you find the terrain in this area?
Because it's mountainous terrain, it is very difficult to represent in GIS in the types of technologies we use, because we collect data about the landscape, about the topography, but we generally represent it in what we call a raster. So the idea of like a digital photograph, but it's a grid of cells, and so the world is divided up into these squares, and each square is a particular size. And the availability for very mountainous terrain is generally not very good in terms of high resolution, meaning we might have a pixel that might be 30 meters. 30 meters on a side, but if you have a steep area where the elevation is changing quite a bit in those 30 meters, you'll end up with a smooth line. And that smooth line won't give you the character that you need. The cragginess, we would call it in English, the cragginess. So that's one of the interesting difficulties at Delphi, because right behind the site of the sanctuary is a very steep cliff. It's almost vertical. And we've gone out, Georgie, myself, and you have gone out and actually looked at that and tried to figure out how can we capture that, because it's certainly an important part of the setting. And people who come to the site remark, I think, very quickly on how the natural setting almost overwhelms the built setting.
Do you believe that in cases like that, we should somehow combine techniques like SFM with GIS?
I think that's our best solution, perhaps, is to where we can get higher resolution GIS data, which is what we're going to be working on, but also combine that with some of the site-specific techniques in archaeology and create a hybrid landscape, I think. I think that's where we're going to find our best success.
Okay, thank you, Susan.
Yes, thank you.